Good evening. Today is March 9th. This is the Norfolk Conservation Commission. We're in meeting room 124, hybrid, in person, and on Zoom. So if anybody at home would like to...
Recording in progress.
If anybody at home would like to participate, go to the town website and you'll be able to connect in with us. So the first thing we have is 5 Hanover Street. Is anybody here? Is that John? Who's here from 5 Hanover Street?
Did they contact you about postponing again, Wayne?
No. Rich, 5 Hanover?
Yeah. Rich, have you heard anything? There.
Let me double check. I'll look. I don't recall anything. Well, let me see.
Who's the guy in the middle? Who's the guy in the middle next to Rich?
Is it the guy from
I
Murray?
do know that the in terms of the zoning board of appeals, they did acquire 1 Hanover Street and passed papers on it in February. It was February 15th. And they needed to renotice in terms of the zoning board of appeals because the subject area for the variance increased because of the additional property.
Okay.
But we didn't have, there wasn't enough time to advertise it for the March 16th ZBA meeting, so they're going to be on the March, well, sorry, not March.
27th.
The April
27th.
27th.
March
meeting.
or April 20th?
April 27th.
Yeah.
So they won't come before us until May.
Well, now, Rich, is the question if the property has changed significant, do we need to close this meeting and then have them reopen the meeting with the new plot plan? Because this is two different this is a completely different property that they're coming in front of us with, because it now contains 1 and 3.
Yep.
So it's probably going to be a different plot number. It's not if it were a minor change, then we could keep it on the same NOI, but it's a different,
Yeah.
completely different plan. So if, say, 20 years from now, somebody wants to look back at a certain meeting with what was 5 Hanover Street, it's going to end up being converged into 1 and 5.
Well, so it will be one parcel in terms of what's going to result in terms of the will be put on record through the zoning board of appeals because they have to combine the 2 properties, which
Right.
will then be 5 Hanover.
So we should close this. But they need to start over again.
Yeah, because I think from the neighbors or anybody that was concerned about it that got the original filing, is different. So now there may be citizens who are seeing won't see the combined thing because they didn't get a filing that the 2 properties were combined. So I think I agree with David. It's that it is something different now. I think we should close this one and they need to reapply to us after the ZBA. They've got plenty of time, and I don't only think it's fair that they notify the neighbors again that, the plot has changed.
So if if you close your hearing, and then what would you be?
They'd have to refile.
Okay.
Yeah, refile with whatever plot plan they have with the ZBA, because this plot plan and what they've given us, we can't make a determination for 1 and 3, because they've only given us, 1 and 5, because they've only given us the NOI 640, which covers 5 Hanover Street. So we need another NOI that would cover what they're doing at 1 and 5. And the other thing they need to do is the wetland research that they do has to be done after May 15th for us to accept it. The one that they just did was done in February, but
Not
we
acceptable.
can't send an agent out until May 15th by our bylaw. So,
So would the process would be just, it wouldn't be them withdrawing without prejudice, or you, that, I'm not clear on this one.
Yeah, they would withdraw without prejudice,
Okay.
and then combine them and refile.
So
And
do
then
you
we-
need to
and then we need
proceed
to,
with,
and we can't check the flags until May 15th, so whatever, I don't know, what's our May meeting? It wouldn't be enough time. So they probably wouldn't be able to go in front of us until June, because they're going to have to go over with an agent the flagging that they found.
so does it make sense for
May
you? But
Yeah.
Procedure, let me ask you this. Does it make sense for you to just continue it to your April meeting, and then they can submit the withdrawal in between, then you could withdraw, you could vote on the withdrawal at that meeting, as opposed to just closing the hearing?
11th. Yeah, see, the problem is the May meeting would be the 11th.
No, not the May meeting. I'm just saying your,
April.
sorry, your April meeting. Just have them, you continue it to April, and then they, in between, they submit a withdrawal without prejudice, and then you can act on it in your April meeting, as opposed to you just closing the hearing.
Well, we'd have to close it in March.
Well, we could close, well, they're not here.
Yeah, we can close it tonight. It doesn't do anything for them. And then
It's
it,
not-
The
not a-
the only difference would be if they decided to not combine 1 and 5 later on, then we've closed their 5th meeting, the meeting for 5 Hanover. So maybe that's a better idea, to just continue it, to make sure they absolutely want to combine the two properties and come before us with the two combined. Because if something happens with ZBA with the 1 and 5, we've closed 5 Hanover Street, and they, without them being here, so.
yeah,
Maybe-
if you could invite them to come to the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Because once we
Close it.
close it,
It's dead.
they have to reapply.
Right,
And they have to
starts-
notify the neighbors, and so it's a
The
huge
procedure
thing.
starts all over
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
So I totally get the, renotice and all that. I'm just thinking, if you just continue, and then they could submit the withdrawal, and then you could act on that, as opposed to just closing the hearing, that's all.
Yeah. I
Let
mean,
them make the decision on what
Yeah.
they want to do.
Yeah.
okay, I'll entertain a motion to continue NOI 240-0640, 5 Hanover Street, until the April 13th meeting at 7:01.
Adam Zucker, so moved.
Jim Wilson, second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let them know, and yeah, if they could come in front of us, somebody, it would be
Yes.
helpful.
Yep.
Okay, 120, 124 MacArthur Avenue. Is there somebody here from MacArthur Avenue?
Yes, I'm here. I'm Franz Burke, the applicant.
Okay,
How are you?
good. Want to explain exactly what's going on?
Okay, sure. So we put the whole thing on hold while we went before planning board. And as a result of that, there were a couple of minor changes to the plan. I think they were just basically improvements to the drainage with 3 things, really. We have going to be installing a recharge galley for the downspouts. And the street, there'll be a stone trench along the edge of the street. And shut this off. And then also, we're extending the erosion control line further up the property so that it goes around the edge of the street itself. I don't know why this thing keeps going up, pardon me. Anyways, other than that, it's the same plan. I also sent along a letter yesterday that came back Monday from the peer review engineer explaining the changes.
Did you get that, Elaine?
Yep, I'll pull it up.
I sent that along to Elaine late last night.
Yep. This is pretty much it. I have the letter up on the screen.
Okay.
And so while Elaine's putting that up, so the planning, he would, Mr. Burke was before the planning board last night. They closed the public hearing and then be drafting a condition of approval to vote on at their April meeting.
Okay. Can you bring it up?
Yeah.
I would have liked to have somebody here from GLM, but they weren't available tonight, so.
Okay, well, it sounds like if you haven't finished with the planning board, we'd like to see after that, just in case there's any other changes. Does it sound?
Okay.
And then
Well,
that way you can get your consultant online and we can do it on the April meeting.
When?
So just to clarify, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
He is done with the planning board. All we're just going to issue the planning board's going to issue the decision with conditions.
oh, okay,
The plan is all set.
okay. But I think we'd like to see the plan, what they
Oh, sure.
issue
Yeah.
before we comment
Yeah.
and vote.
So as far as,
I can show you the plan now if you want, but if you don't, that's fine.
No, because we're going to have to bring it up again next month.
Okay, I had also sent along a plan, an updated septic plan for you that was prepared by GLM.
Did you get that?
Do you have that? Have you had a chance to look at it, or?
No.
That was sent separately?
Yeah, that was sent prior to my sending the letter. I think I sent that Sunday night. And then I sent the letter last night
Yeah. We have.
from Beta. It was actually on the same email chain.
So the septic, that's just,
it looks like Beta's approved
Yeah,
everything.
Rob from GLM issued me a slightly different plan for conservation than planning board, but all I can see is just one page shorter, really.
Okay. Now, Beta seems like Jim brought up, in reading the letter quickly, that they approved what you are proposing, and Beta is working for us,
Right,
for our peer review, correct?
correct.
Okay, and you've got GLM.
Now what about the? what-
Correct,
like-
and on this most recent letter from Beta, Beta had basically annotated their original letter and wrote in next to where they had their 3 or 4 concerns, that they had been satisfied, and issued that letter on Monday night.
How about the flags? Who approved those?
The flags. Did your office go out? The last I remember, GLM flagged the property in the fall, and I think, I thought you folks had already been out there to look at the flags.
We don't have anything in front of us that Janet did it before she left. Rich, and you haven't sent Beta out there, have you?
I have not.
Okay.
So again, why did,
Go ahead.
Rich, I'm almost sure that in one of our meetings, Janet, when we originally were talking about this project, I thought Janet had looked at some of the flagging already and had made
Yeah,
some
that's
comments
true.
because we were looking at the overall project first before you had issues with, you had issues with planning in the town as far as the condition of the street.
Yeah, we had to clarify the issue with regard to it being grandfathered before we proceeded with the planning board. But prior to that, she had looked at the flags and then had made a request to GLM to, I think, do some further flagging, which they did. And markings, she had requested that they mark out the line of the wall and everything, which they did back then. And so I had assumed that she had already seen that.
Okay.
We'll have to take a look at then we'll have to pull a file and see what her notes say.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah,
We need it between May 15th and November 15th for the flagging to be checked, and I just
I think it
want
was
to make
done
sure, I
right
know
before
she had
Vegetation.
questions on a couple of flags during, when we met during the summer.
Right, in
and-
August.
yep,
And then, because we were pretty sure that what you had proposed to us in the summer was pretty much what you were going to stick to, and you were kind of seeing what we would allow you to do.
We did. We just added the recharge galley for the downspouts, the stone drainage trench along the road, and then we extended the erosion control, made it longer, the erosion control line. We brought it up the hill onto the street, so it's capping the ends of the street as well. And that's all delineated in the beta letter.
So as far as the downspouts, where are they grading? They're grading towards the wetlands or away from the wetlands?
Well, the downspouts weren't called out on the original plan at all. What we've done, we've added a recharge galley to capture water from the downspouts. So
Okay.
now all the downspouts will be directed to that recharge galley via piping. And the recharge galley is now shown on the plan. It's basically towards the street side of the house, towards the driveway.
oh, okay.
That's really the only on-site
you
change, so
blow
to
that
speak.
up?
The other changes really had to do more with the road, and that we, added a stone trench along the edge of the road that we're extending, and,
A little more? We're blowing up the,
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That help?
no, go back up. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so the recharge galley is just, on the plan, it's just above the proposed driveway off the corner of the house. We didn't have that there before.
Okay,
So the prior assumption is that whatever downspouts were on the house were just going to splash onto the ground. So obviously this is, a much more sound solution.
yes.
So it's, actually, the suggestions that Beta made are actually very, very good ones. And we didn't hesitate in adopting their changes.
So, in the orders of condition, we're going to have to address the 50-foot marker, how that's going to be marked and segregated.
Do you have any suggestions how you'd like to mark it
Mark, what?
The 50-foot line
from the wetlands?
on the property.
Yeah, permanent, they're looking for a permanent marker,
Okay. I don't know if that's been flagged. I know the wall has been flagged, and I know,
Elaine, what's in the top right-hand corner?
they didn't actually
50 foot.
state, you mean the 50-foot buffer
Yeah.
line, which actually happens to fall right along the bottom edge of the wall, and then, of course, go outward from there.
No, push it that way.
I don't know that we discussed that before.
I want to read the notes on the right-hand side.
50-foot
Okay.
no disturb buffer.
Over here?
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, if
Because normally,
roads were fenced, wall to be designed. Okay, that's not at the 50-foot mark.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're actually looking for on-the-ground marker, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
You
that's,
usually do-
they're looking for just so the future owner of the house knows where that 50-foot no disturb is.
so usually it's either,
Stone,
stone in the ground, or
Fencing.
fencing.
right, I did one property years ago where they did the fencing, what do you call it, the split rail fencing, and then a scene where we do the stone marker every so often. What would they be, like 50 or 100 feet apart, or? What's your preference on?
Probably
given-
50. Every 50 feet? Put a
Stone
marker?
Stone bound in every 50 feet?
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll need to add that to the plan?
yes.
Okay.
Or at
All right,
any
so-
corner, right? Any corners. If it changes direction, you want to delineate that too.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to change direction, it just goes kind of along in one line at, kind of a slight curve across the property. Yeah, there's no change in direction really, it just goes over at across.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that we covered that before, but we certainly can.
Yeah, I don't recall us talking about that portion of it.
Were you going to put in any fencing in the back? Is that part
Well, there's
of
going to
what-
be a fence at the top of the wall, obviously, for safety reasons.
Right, right.
But no, I hadn't thought about putting, because we're not disturbing any of that. Everything, if you look at the limit of work line, aside from where the wall is going, or right around the wall, we're not touching anything over there. We're leaving it natural. So we really hadn't thought about going into the woods and marking it. We're really thinking more in terms of the area that we're disturbing.
Right.
Are you putting any barrier up in the back?
We're putting the erosion control barrier.
Yeah, okay.
Right. We're putting the erosion control barrier goes, out back there behind the wall. It's that
the dotted
heavy
line.
dotted line, and then it comes up to
Okay, so-
MacArthur Avenue on either side and actually cuts off MacArthur Avenue, the extended MacArthur Avenue on either side. That's essentially a silt fence and filter net all the way around that, big U, and then onto the street.
It looks also that you're putting a fence on top of the retaining wall, so a fence behind it would be kind of redundant.
It would.
I think,
and would be disturbing
and it would
that
look
area.
kind of odd. So
It would, yes.
Well, there's a.
I think the markers would probably be the best bet.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's a huge, that wall, I mean, how high is the wall, Franz, again? I mean, it's
18
pretty
feet.
high.
18 feet.
high wall, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty tall. And we're basically creating a lot on the hill.
got it.
It's going to be, it's going to be backfilled in layers. I'm going to have the structural engineer inspect it. Every other layer. It's going to be inspected at least 3 times, as we're backfilling it and compacting it and, doing the geogrid, that's really the biggest part of this project is building that wall and doing it very carefully.
Okay.
No, I do remember that this is the plan they came, that's pretty much the same plan you came to us before.
Yeah, I know, it's hard because we came to you back in August and
Yeah.
I probably got a little ahead of myself at that point and then we had to backtrack, so.
Well,
But that's okay.
no, I think in this type of situation, it was good you came in front of us at the beginning, especially when you have, because we agreed that wall would be okay when you
Right,
came
that
in
was the
front of
thing.
us.
Before I went forward on any other tact,
Yeah.
I wanted to establish the feasibility of that to make sure that it actually could be done. And then, get your reaction on that before I started, going after all the legal issues in the planning board and all that, yes.
Okay.
No, what it does is it definitely keeps the humans on the 50 to 100-foot side and not on the other side by having the
It really
retaining wall with a
does.
fence.
Yeah, because, you're going to have, like a wrought iron metal fence along top of there. And then the yard itself in the back, that'll be all stone. There's really not going to be any lawn or anything in this area that's disturbing. It's going to be basically a combination of like stone gardens and mulch and plantings. And it's, it's a 3-bedroom, it's a 3-bedroom lake home with parking up at the street for a couple of cars and you walk down. It's a very simple property that way. But, because that's all the site will support.
Yeah. It sounds reasonable
Yeah.
with what we have. We're ready to close this? You
Well,
think?
we have to, Gonna have to have somebody draw up orders of condition.
Yeah. We'll,
Add the marker and to, the marker would have to be on the plans for,
sure, for the deed.
and that's just a minor change, so we don't need to close the meeting and reopen it for that.
Yeah, we'll have to get our consultant, since we don't have a conservation agent, to write up our orders of conditions,
Yes.
and we can vote on it next month. And you'll be able to get your paperwork the next day.
Okay, so does that mean we can close the hearing tonight and then?
Well, we
vote on
we can't close the hearing because
it? Oh,
by statute, we have 21 days to sign your orders of condition if we close, and we don't meet for another 30 days.
okay.
So yeah.
We'll save you some money.
Sure.
So, yeah, we'll just continue it till like 7:05 on the 13th, and
Okay.
we should be able to wrap everything up then.
Okay, if there's anything else you need in the meantime, shoot me an email and
Will do.
I'll get GLM on it. Should I have them send you an updated copy of the plan showing the stone markers in the meantime?
Yes,
Okay, I'll have that done right away.
yep, yeah, we should have those on file, and we can review them all prior to the meeting.
So it's stone markers like every 50 feet showing
Yes.
the line?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
all right, thank you.
Thank you for coming before us.
Thank
See you next
very
month.
much. You bet, take care. Bye-bye now.
Just, I make a motion to continue NOI 240-642 to 7:05 PM on April 13th.
Is there a second?
Bellstone, I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7:05 it is on the 13th.
Okay, thank you. Good night now.
Good night. Okay, 16 Litchfield Avenue. Rich?
Yeah, so they're requesting a withdrawal without prejudice from you all. They actually, in this case, they kind of submitted a little bit too quick, because when I got on the phone and met with the applicant, he's looking to change the garage. So it's a proposal to add a detached garage to the property. He's got to put a new septic system in the back of the property, and then there's some grading, and he's got to build some walls. So basically, this plan is going to change. So the decision was, and he was going before the ZBA, so I suggested that he withdraw without prejudice before the ZBA so he can kind of get everything organized into one plan.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise for you as well.
Yeah.
Come in so you have, the garage that they're looking at. So everything is cohesive in terms of the filing. So that's why they're requesting the withdrawal from you to and then refile it.
Okay.
We'll
I'll
be back.
accept a motion for 16 Litchfield Avenue for a withdrawal without prejudice.
Adams Zucker, so moved.
Second?
Bellstone, I second.
Further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Complete. Okay, 11 Pennacook Street. Is somebody here from that? No?
I am here, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, there he
John
is. Hi.
Foster. How are you?
Good.
John, did you
Jim Martin and Mary Ellen Hurley have a buyer for this property at 11 Pennacook Street. It has an existing order of conditions, obviously, but the buyer wants a house which is a little bit different than the house that was shown on the plan that's approved. The house that's shown on the plan that's approved is essentially a 30 by 40 box for the house with a 24 by 24 garage. The proposed house is a little bit different. It's not as wide as the 64 feet. It's more like 60 feet, but it's a little bit deeper than the 30 feet. It's about 36 feet deep. So we've placed that house on the plan. It's in the same location as the approved plan. We set it closer to the street, however, so that we can have it as far away from the wetlands and the 50-foot no disturb as possible. So.
Has the ZBA approved that?
This is a, just the building permit. No, this doesn't have to go to any other boards. This just goes to the building inspector after this. But
Okay.
rather than me try to have to explain when it comes time to do an as-built why the building is different than what you approved, I explain to my clients that it's better to do it now, because I don't want to be like, Lucy and Ricky and have to do a lot of splaining at the end of the project. I'd rather do it now, so that's what I told them to do. So the only change, there's no change in the limit of work, there's no change in the grading, there's no change in the width or size of the driveway. The only change is that the building, instead of being 117 and a half, essentially, feet to the rear lot line, is 110 feet to the rear lot line. So it's moved back essentially 7.5 feet from what was approved. So there's the plan that you approved.
Okay.
That's up on the, that's the plan that
Yep, that's the
is
approved one.
approved.
That's the approved one. Yes, John.
That's the approved plan.
Yep.
And that plan from the rear lot line to the rear of the house is 117 and a half, 117.45 feet. So essentially 117 and a half feet. And then what we're proposing is a house in the same location, but it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit fatter, let's say, than that house. So it's going to be 110 feet to the rear line. But the limit of work that's shown on the approved plan, the grading that's shown on the approved plan, the septic system, the water line, none of that has changed on the plan. It's just the footprint of the building is slightly different. So again, my advice to my client is to let the Conservation Commission know that this is a change, and prior to, construction. So that's what we're here. I think it's very minor in nature, but, I don't, that's just up to the board to decide, not up for me to decide. But
Okay.
as I said, if you look at the plan closely, there's absolutely no change in the grading, there's no change in the location of the septic system, the location of any of the amenities that go with the proposal. Just a change in the sort of the depth of the house from front to back. It's about 7 feet deeper
Okay.
than what was proposed.
And I saw you send in amended plans and all, so,
John,
Right,
up on
we
the
s-
screen now is the proposed plan, so the board can see the difference in how wider the house is, a little bit. And see how it's a little different?
can you blow that up a little bit, Elaine? I can't read the dimensions. Okay.
And then see how that's
So
100.
so that
Yeah,
house
yeah.
is 60 feet from left to right, but from front to back, when you add up everything, it's actually 32 feet versus the 30 feet. But because of the way it sort of jocks, maybe it's closer to 38 feet from front to back versus the 30 feet of what was proposed. So we moved it forward towards the road to sort of keep it as far away from the, your 50-foot no disturb, but still meet zoning, which is a 50-foot setback. So, but the limit of work, the compost sock that rings our proposal is in the exact same location. Everything is in the exact same location, other than the building is a little bit different shape, that's all.
Okay.
I just didn't want to tell my clients to go forward and build this building without letting the Conservation Commission know beforehand, because as I said, in my experience, I would rather not be trying to explain this to you at the end of the process, when you're asking me, John, why did you let your, client go forward with this? When I knew, full well that it was different. So I wanted to make sure that the commission knew that there was a different house that is proposed to be built, and that you can make your decision on whether this requires any action or not. I would propose to you that it can simply be handled with an as-built plan at the end of the process, which is what you're going to get.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the board before we?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, how different is the square footage of the footprint? Like, would you be significantly increasing roof space for runoff? That's all. Like, I know the linear, it's not that different with the measurements, but it might affect the square footage. Not a big deal, just curious if it's going to change the,
I don't know, if you give me a second, I can compute it for you. I don't know off the top of my head. My gut feeling tells me it's a little bit smaller building because it's not as wide from left to right. It's just a little bit deeper. It's
well, don't waste any time here. We got a lot to do, so.
I would say it's either the same or it's a little bit smaller, actually.
All right.
Okay. So really, we don't need to, well, the amendment would be as-built plans to be provided. Other than that, everything's the same, so.
Yeah, you probably want to vote it consistent with that plan that's been provided, so that you have the,
The new plan,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's,
Is there a date on the new plan?
There's a revision date on the new plan of
bottom right-hand corner.
February 9th, 2022.
That makes it clear.
It does. Can't get any
Yeah.
much newer than that. All righties. I'll accept a motion to accept the amended order of conditions for
Do we
240-0633.
have to close the meeting first? Are you going to need to come in front of us again?
No, well, that's your decision, and I don't want to sort of tell you, I don't want to be,
We could leave it open, John. We could just vote on this.
this is not a hearing. We're just presenting to you the fact that the owner is intending to build a building which is somewhat different, so it's up to you. This is not a...
Hearing, as you said.
So it should have been under just an
Did she
action item.
notify-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did
Okay.
notify abutters and all, that's
That's
correct.
why I
Oh,
wanted to
okay,
make sure,
okay.
because it was listed
So
as,
you're right, it's an open hearing, and and we're requesting an amendment to the order of
Okay.
conditions. So the only amendment is to substitute the plan dated, or last revised February 9th, 2022, as the plan of record.
Okay.
so since it's listed as a hearing, we could close the hearing and then
We
just
could vote
vote.
on it, yeah.
Request, then we're,
Golden.
yeah.
All right. I'll accept a motion to close the hearing for 240-0633.
Dahlstone, so moved.
Second.
Adam Zucker, second.
Any further discussion? Okay, so for 240-0633, we're accepting the revised,
We got to vote on
yeah,
the closure.
Oh, to close it, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I was 2 steps ahead. Okay, all in favor of closing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. Okay, now I'll accept, or, a motion to accept the amended order of conditions to show the revised plan of 2/9/22. Is there a
So moved.
second?
Second, Adams, a second.
Is there any confirmation or discussion? Everybody's clear? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. Okay, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Members of the board, and thank you, Rich. We'll see you again soon, I hope.
Okay,
All right, thanks. Good night.
keep them coming. Okay, MCI Norfolk, 2 Clark Street. Anybody here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Scott Boudelier from EnviroTrack in Sharon, Massachusetts, representing the Massachusetts Department of Correction. Good evening, Commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much for your time. Also in attendance tonight is Andy Bakanowski, who is in the audience, I believe.
Yep.
Who can also answer questions.
waved.
Okay, thank you. So what you have before you is a proposal to do a groundwater remediation in an area that's between the 50 and 100-foot buffer zone to a wetlands area. The wetlands area was flagged by a professional wetlands surveyor, and documentation thereof was in your package. I can share my screen if...
Hang on one sec. Scott, let me
No problem, Elaine.
make you a co-host, and then you'll be able to share. Okay, you should be able to.
Okay.
And this is where there was a gas or oil spill?
Yes, there was, and from an underground storage tank. And the area has been in use for over a century and is still in use for maintenance for the vehicles for the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
Are you able to share?
Do you want to share the document, or should we?
He's- Scott, I think
what-
you're going to.
You've got permission to share it.
Okay.
Ah, there we go.
Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. A little trouble seeing it on my screen. So as you know, the property, can you see now the
No.
topo?
Nope. Click on, what did you want to show them? Figure 1 and 2?
Yes, figure 1 and 2.
Yeah, go ahead and click on that. Anything? Were you able to open that up?
Can you open it?
Nope.
Oh.
He's got control.
Don't understand what's happening.
That's all right. Let me see what, I know we had discussed, Scott, how big the document was.
Scott, do you have it on your
Screen
end?
sharing, so I'm not sure why you can't see it.
You can see it on your side?
Yes, but I'm not sure it's in the Zoom window.
That's odd.
So you have it. So maybe,
I don't know. I have him down as a co-host. What do you think, Rich? Any suggestions?
well, yeah, I guess my suggestion would try stop the screen sharing and then have him try it again, you know? So he's,
Okay, I'll hit stop share on this end.
yeah,
Okay,
because right now, yeah.
Okay, I did that.
okay.
And then,
Gotta do it again?
Yeah, then just make him co-host, and then hopefully it should.
Oh, first I have to remove his co-host permission, I guess. Oh, let me see.
What's that?
I had to remove him as a co-host, now I'm gonna make him a co-host again.
Yeah, make him
See
co-host
what
again.
happens this time.
And then when Lane does that, Scott, just make sure that you're sharing the, the screen with the document. Selected, that's what I mean. So you might have multiple windows, make sure that window is selected. You understand, see what I mean? If not, the other option is, Lane, you probably just go in there and screen share.
What we have, yeah. I mean, I do have the document.
Yeah.
You just have to know what pages, Scott.
What would you like to show, Scott?
Right now on,
that-
right now on the
There you go.
I just said, oh, there you
Okay.
go. Perfect. Good.
Okay, so you can see the topo map.
Can you blow that up a little?
Scott, can you blow that up a little bit?
Yep, hold on just a sec.
Blow it up
Okay.
at least once.
So you can see it's the prison facility, which you're, I'm sure, all familiar with, which is a 1,200-acre parcel. But the area we're working is southeast of the main prison complex at the area that they use for auto repair, and also now used to be a warehouse type facility that's used for storage and for a fitness center for the employees. And it's an entirely paved property and parcel. And now we have an aerial view of the parcel, and you can see the wetlands area from above. The flagged wetlands boundary where my hand figure is running. A propane tank enclosure. It's all paved. The auto body shop, former distribution warehouse. There's a rectangle in here, which is the general area where we'll be proposing to work, which is in between the 50 and 100-foot buffer zone to this wetlands.
Okay. And what are you proposing to do?
We are going to apply a remedial additive to the subsurface that's got a brand name of Petrofix. It is non-toxic, micron size activated carbon that's in a solution so that it can be put into the ground under low pressure. It's going to come 500 gallons of the product gets diluted about 10-to-1 with fresh water. And you'll see we've got red dots scattered about. Each of those will be a temporary injection point. We won't even have to install monitoring wells for this because we already have a network of monitoring wells. So what we will simply do is go to each of those locations, vacuum out about 5 feet of soil with basically a turbo shop vac that will contain the soil. That's to ensure that we don't hit any underground obstructions or building infrastructure utilities. Replace the soil in the hole, place a stainless steel injector in the ground, and gently pump in approximately 275 gallons of the Petrofix solution at each of the locations at depths from about 2 to 7 feet below the ground surface. And the liquid activated carbon is a very proven technology used all the time to treat groundwater, drinking water. So it is completely non-toxic. And what it will do is adsorb the dissolved gasoline hydrocarbons. It also has a very small component of some electron acceptors, some minor amounts of nitrate and sulfate, which after the application will gently stimulate naturally occurring microbial activity to basically eat the hydrocarbons. And they'll use that, consume it, and continue to improve the groundwater quality. So there are no permanent structures. The area of work is in an area that's been previously disturbed, is currently paved. We're not going to alter the hydrology. We're not going to have any discharges into the wetlands, and no permanent infrastructure. The work will take about a week to complete, and then we'll be monitoring. And this work is also regulated under the Massachusetts Contingency Plan under 310 CMR 40.000 in the relevant sections. And the injections are being overseen by a licensed site professional, and the DEP, Bureau of Waste Site Cleanup, is regulating this work. So for those reasons, I do believe that a negative determination would be appropriate, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Andy, do you have any comments? Anything you want to add?
No, well, you want me to go to the mic?
Sure, if you would. Yeah, come on up.
Actually, you can, yeah, do that one, that's fine.
Scott, trying not to steal your thunder. Just so you know, this was actually done back in 2002.
Oh, is that right?
One of the original. It was a slightly different chemical additive, but they used the existing monitoring wells. And at that time, since it was considered an experimental, innovative technology, there was no filing required. Now things have changed in 20 years. So we're basically, this is version 2.0,
Okay.
Slightly different materials, slightly different compounds that we're putting in there, but it does the same thing. And literally it breaks down to nothing over time. So that's, so if there's concerns about impacting water or changing, chemistry of the surface water, it's not going to happen. It's very limited. And the reason why we're doing it this way is because, as we learned the first time, that the material that we were looking at was stuck in one well. And literally, it was for 5 years, you're sampling, think it's going to go away. And then they finally said, well, we'll do some permanganate additive. And within a year, it was gone. So.
The magic of chemistry, huh?
Magic of chemistry. Okay, Scott, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Andy. Commissioners, I don't have anything to add at this time, but we'll be happy to answer questions.
Questions? Seems like a straightforward, reasonable approach to it.
Especially where it's located
Yeah.
and what they're doing there.
Okay.
So,
We don't have any paperwork.
so they really don't even need any silt barriers because they're removing soil and then
Putting it back.
adding a material that wouldn't matter whether it, not really anything's going to wash away because you're just digging small holes, not digging up a tank or anything like that.
That's correct.
There's no need to put any barriers around.
No.
Now, where would, the soil, I imagine, is going right into a truck? It's not going to be stored on the ground?
That's correct. And as soon as we've pre-cleared the hole to make sure there were no obstructions, we're going to put the soil right back in.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah, because that would be the only reason
To have a barrier.
we'd have a barrier if there was soil stored on the ground. So if it's not, then we're fine.
Okay. Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Do we have to have the request for determination drawn up? We don't
Yeah.
have one, do we?
No.
So we'd have to have, again, because we have to,
Yeah, Beta, we're going to have Beta, our consultant, write up the paperwork. So what we can do is we'll close it and vote on it at the next meeting.
oh, we'd have to
Sign.
forward it. We'd have to continue it.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be able to complete everything at the next meeting. and we'll make sure we have the paperwork ready to go. If that's okay with you?
Mr. Chairman,
And-
just point of order, and you can close it and request, from the DOC to allow you to go more than 21 days, because
Oh, okay. Well, sure.
you can do that. Scott, I don't know if you can hear me, I'm not sure what the lead time on this is, so, we may not.
Yeah, we're not planning to do this until probably mid to late April.
Oh, okay.
So you would have
The
the
compound
paperwork,
doesn't like sub-freezing weather.
yeah, you would have the paperwork the day after our meeting. But we just never close them because we still can't do anything till we sign the paperwork. And then if there is an issue that comes up, you've got to go through the whole process of opening up the meeting, hearing again, so.
So I just gave you
yeah.
a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was
Try
good.
try to be consistent with everyone.
And have a fail-safe system if something does come up.
We've had it happen before where we did this and we had a member not show up within 21 days and we had 3 out of 4 signatures, so.
It didn't work.
Yeah, so.
Okay, let's entertain a motion to continue this until the April meeting at 7:20.
We could actually do 7:10, because the other one's 7:05.
Yeah, okay, let's do it at 7:10. Motion?
And they don't need to be here.
Right, you don't have to be here, we'll just vote on it, it'll be just a paper process and voting.
Okay.
So
Thank
I'll
you,
entertain a motion to
Commissioners.
continue this until the April 13th meeting at 7:10.
Adam Zucker, so moved.
Jim Olson, second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We'll take care of you at the April meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you very much,
Oh,
Commissioner.
thank you. We appreciate it. Ready to come back on the board?
I have 2 other boards I'm dealing with.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, well, Board of Health and Energy Committee.
Oh,
So,
okay.
anybody want to spend some time on the Energy Committee?
No, I won't say anything because I don't want to get in trouble. Okay.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Next item is 97 Medway Street. They want a certificate of release, 240-222. I think this is
Is this ready? Is it?
No, it's not.
Rich,
no,
is
it's
that
not
ready?
No, they got to, they're just they're in the process of engaging, well, actually, they hired a surveyor, so they got to do an as-built plan and then present you the as-built plan along with a letter from the surveyor professional to document that everything that was in that original order has been addressed in the, with the construction of the project.
So we'll just continue it till the April meeting.
We don't even
Yeah,
have to do that 'cause
and
it's just an
just an FYI, you might see more of these. The banks have gotten a little bit more diligent in terms of when they do the title exam, so don't be surprised to see a lot more of these, ones that they didn't follow through and get their certificates when they should have years ago. This is back, 1997, so, but,
Okay. Yeah, we have been getting some
yeah.
this year more than we've had in the past of somebody exactly that, trying to sell their home and they've got a septic system they installed 10 years ago and the orders are never completed.
Yeah, I would expect you'll see more of them. There are, which actually is a good thing, because now this stuff gets cleaned up, which should have been done years ago. And this property already sold once already, so unfortunately,
Okay, Elaine, then just keep it on the agenda for next meeting under the same heading. Okay, 54 Cleveland Street. You have that paperwork? Could we see that?
Want me to bring it up on the screen, or you want to look at it?
Let's look at it.
We have it to sign.
If you want to pop it up, you can, but we can just quick proofread
This is
it.
another one of the ones that,
This is the one to sign.
from a while back.
Yep.
No, this is pretty current.
Oh, Susan Klein, 11 Kenny.
Yeah, this is a new project.
Oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong one,
Which one's that?
isn't it? Wait a minute, oh, no, I'm sorry. My mistake. I was looking at her address.
Yeah.
The 54
Okay.
Cleveland Street. Well, we can't do anything until May.
What is it?
We could give them partial. Right, Rich?
What is it?
It's a certificate of compliance.
Yeah,
Since we can't see anything until our window opens up.
oh no, I did go out and do a site visit,
Oh, okay. And?
and everything was completed in terms of everything was established, you know, all stabilized, and now,
The grass is growing?
well.
Or started?
not yet. No. The grass had grown already, and
Okay.
so now it's in dormancy, but,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I actually went out before it snowed, so. It was a-
So, here's the order before this one. So that way we should probably check that one. The complete certification.
You don't have their complete file, do you?
Or is it, this is just, we're certifying that this is completed? This,
Yeah, she's requested.
because the box wasn't checked, that's why.
So under B, certification, we can check it that it's been completed.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I was supposed to leave that blank, and you guys decide.
Oh,
This is Janet's notes on this. Okay?
oh, okay.
So that's what I did.
That's the one we just
And then the
did.
date was what Janet did. So, yeah, you guys, that's
Okay.
fine. Okay? These were her notes to me.
Okay.
Okay? Do we have any conditions? I don't think so.
No,
So it should be good to go.
okay. So I'll entertain a motion to sign off on the certificate of compliance for 54 Cleveland Street.
Valstone, so moved.
Second?
Adam Zucker, second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. Thank you, Adam. Okay, on Mirror Lake, do you have the order of conditions? Or we get into it?
Sign. And these in the back is all the, we reviewed and I reviewed with
B?
Joe Ornato.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Okay. Mirror Lake, we have the order of conditions ready, so I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Adam Zucker, so moved.
Second?
Valstone, second.
Any discussion? And this goes in regard to treating Mirror Lake on the Norfolk side. against the invasive plants. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the hearing is closed. We'll entertain a motion to sign the order of conditions for CE 240-0648.
So moved.
Second?
Adam Zucker, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Okay, prepping for the next subject matter, it's the license agreement for REI. I think we have a couple of changes, Rich, and
Sure. Yeah, so what I did in terms of, I took what was requested in their license agreement, or what they're looking to have in there, and then I sent an email along, had discussions with Lydia on the phone in terms of, there are other things I'm sure you're going to want to try to consider in terms of, well, number of participants,
Yeah.
but also whether, it's allowed during the week, weekends, more than one session a day, that kind of stuff. So.
Okay, let's start with it. We want 10 max for participants. We want one group at a time.
Okay.
And what do we feel about multiple groups on the same day? Just at different times?
I think 2 is reasonable. don't you?
2 is reasonable.
Yeah.
Should we limit how many times per week? Like how many days per week that they're allowed?
I mean,
If they're coming I don't think they're going to come every single day, but
I would think that if we limited it to 10 and we had it to 2 groups a day, do you think that's reasonable, or do we need to cut it to maybe 7 in a group?
I'd keep it at the
no,
10.
I keep it at
10 is a group.
10. I didn't know if we needed to limit it.
No.
Oh, you mean like, it
What
wouldn't be like
days
4
of the
groups,
week?
like constant on the weekend maybe, or you mean like every day?
Mr. Chairman, this is Lydia Glenn from
Yes.
REI, Supervisor
Hi.
Berg. I just wanted to make sure you all knew I was here, glad to answer any
We
questions.
saw you flash by.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I think Paul and Greg, my colleagues, came to a meeting a couple months back, but
Yes.
just wanted to make sure I was here to answer any additional questions you might have. So typically we're running these programs, mountain biking programs, at a 1-to-5 ratio with a maximum of 10 participants and 2 guides, which would make 12 people total, including guides. Occasionally we have a shadow shift or something like that, someone in training, so that would bring it up to 13. So I had proposed a cap of 15 people per program, but happy to do 12 or 13 if that's more agreeable to the commission. And typically we're only running 1 program per day, and it would be a maximum of 8 per month at the most. So certainly not every day by any means.
So for
Go
their,
ahead, Adam.
I'm sorry, for their benefit, she's talking about classes of 12, 2 instructors, and then the 10.
Yes.
And then if we just put a cap on it of 2 a day, which you can't carry over, then they couldn't flood it on weekends if they wanted to,
Yeah.
And you have a kill switch,
Yeah.
so if it started being abused.
How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
And Lydia, just the other thing we did talk about, so one of the classes might be go up to like 9 o'clock at night when it's the daylight too, just so your commission's aware of that.
So dusk to dawn?
I
Yeah.
think isn't that
That's.
I think that's the limit of the park anyway,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no night, you don't envision any nighttime riding, do you?
Actually, that was the primary program we had proposed. Yeah, it was a night mountain biking
Oh,
program.
is that right? Oh, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
starting right at sunset and going about 3 hours, so it'd be 6 to 9 p.m. And that's based on the size of the property. So we do introduction to mountain biking classes at other locations and state parks, but they do have a nighttime restriction. And so our hope was to be able to offer these night programs. Yeah.
So
Okay. Would that be on the weekends?
You know, typically for evening programs, we try to do weekdays just
Oh.
because so many programs are running on weekends. So it opens up a little more options. But yeah, it could potentially be a Friday night or a Saturday night as well. If,
Okay.
Yeah, it's
we
an
definitely
option.
need to let the police department know they're gonna be
Yeah,
out there
yeah.
at night. So we don't keep, they don't keep getting calls. I see kids in the woods with lights and
bikes and-
Yeah, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do run full moon hikes at various trustees of reservations properties around the state, and we always just call the local police department ahead and give them a heads up, and usually not an
Oh,
issue.
okay. Yeah, and we'll write a letter to the police department once we get this in place to notify them that you'll be using that property.
But it's always good because the town, I think it would be good, like a policy for you that you've been doing, to
Yeah.
contact them to let them know each time, because you don't want,
SWAT to show up.
Okay.
Okay.
Use the full-
Absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah. Okay, then.
And then what do we want to limit the 12 or 13 per?
Well, we're talking about 10 participants and then 2 to 3 instructors.
See, the problem I have is, I think if we try to limit to 10, it's going to screw up their
What they already have in
whole
place. Yeah.
online system of classes where you have a particular thing at 13. If we try to limit it to like 2 less, then how is REI going to be able to maintain that? And I think
Okay.
we just want to make sure that we don't have like 2 or 3 groups of 15 people riding all at the same time, and then the residents aren't able to use the park at all. That's all we're trying to limit. We don't want to, we want to be reasonable as far as putting what restraints that we have or constraints on you so that, it's fair to all.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. We only have enough bikes to run one program at a time. So I think
okay.
limiting it to one program per day is very reasonable and won't be a problem for us.
Especially if it's a 3-hour program. I'm sure the instructors get tired after 3 hours. Okay, so
So based on what you discussed, we'll just change it and then you can sign it. We'll vote it and then sign it afterwards.
and really, the only change would be run one group at a time.
Yeah, no, that's it. Well, you okay with the 15 in there? Or,
Yeah, inclusive of the staff,
Yeah.
so that they could sign up 10 and add 2 or 3. People.
that's it. So I read it the way, so 15 participants inclusive of licensed staff or instructors.
Especially if they end up having one of the senior staff member that wants to come by and check on them. We don't want to, the police to look and say, well, they've got 18 people or 15 people here. You said 12,
Yeah.
so
No, we can live with the
just want to be
15.
reasonable, so.
Okay.
Lydia, have you contacted the Rentham State School for parking?
We did. My colleague Paul did, and I'm forgetting the name of the person he spoke to. I can pull it up in a second.
Oh, that's okay, but where does that stand?
So I have an email. Michael Gardner at Rentham Development School gave the green light for programs.
Okay.
We sent a certificate of insurance to the school.
Just writing down the name. Okay. Yeah, I think we could, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agreement with the change of one group at a time, just adding that in. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the REI license agreement.
So moved.
Second?
Valstone, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. We will amend this, and who signs this? Rich, you? We do?
You were on there, isn't it? Let's see. I thought the commission,
Okay.
We have,
Yeah, the commission-
the
you
board
do.
does, Rich, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
do you want to sign it first? Actually, you know what? Olivia, maybe we'll revise it, send it to you, have Jeremy sign it, and then send it back to us, the original, and they can sign it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I apologize. I know you just voted, but I see an expiration date of February 15th, 2023. These are winter programs for us, so the season actually would be like November through March, and we've basically missed this season at this point, but I'm wondering if we get a contract in place now, it would be great if it could run through the end of next season, so like March 31st, 2023 would just be a big impact for us as far as having to renew a contract in the
Okay,
middle
so
of
what
that
would,
period.
what date would you like it to expire on?
I mean, what's comfortable for you all? We could do like a 2-year contract, but if you want an annual, then I think like April 1st, 2023 would be a good
Might as
cadence.
well do 2 years, because
Yeah,
we've got,
we can
I
kill
mean,
it.
in all fairness, might as well have it as 2 years, because
Yeah.
if we have an issue, we have, they have the right to,
Yes.
Stop it.
yeah, so,
Okay,
So,
that'd be,
yeah,
but don't worry, we'd call you back first before we just voted to stop it.
But you
If we had,
Yeah.
some citizens that said, I was out there, and, so if we have to, and if anything happens, we'll let you know. So,
perfect.
so the date though, of February 15th, you'd want that to go a little bit later, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was proposing April 1st.
Okay,
we could do,
April 1st, 2024?
yeah,
yeah. I think 2 years is
fine.
a legitimate amount of time to, what do you guys in agreement?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, doing a multi-year helps you out and really doesn't hurt us at all.
Yeah.
Because, again, we can kill it at any time.
Right. I have some issues.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. Is this in your computer, Elaine?
Yep,
So you can make the amendments?
yep.
Okay.
So if there's other programs that you want to use the space for, we just ask that for each type of use, so if you were going to do hiking or whatever, that you just make a separate one for each one, so that, we have it on file. So that, say, for example, we have an issue with mountain biking, but we have no issue with hiking, we could cancel one contract, it wouldn't cancel all of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And would I approach Rich with that new contract request? If that
Or you,
decide,
or just,
Yeah. Well, you could,
Or through conservation.
yeah, you'd send it to us, what you want to
Yeah.
use it for.
okay, great.
And then we, or someone could come to the meeting again so that, we know exactly what you want, how long, if you're hiking, is it 2 hours, 3 hours, how many people, the time of day, how many classes per day, same type of thing.
Sure,
just-
yeah, no problem.
What we don't want is to have, like, if we allow one group to use it, and then the townspeople say, well, we tried to walk on the trail, but there was like 30 bikes, and then they had a walking clinic, and, so, it would have to be like, REI has one class regardless of any of the other classes, so the next contract might have to include that,
Yeah.
so that, we don't have, like the hiking and the biking overlapping or on the same day, so.
Yeah, is parking a concern as far as multiple programs on the same day? Is that part of where that's coming from?
No, it's more of, would the citizens of the town be able to use the property if they weren't in an REI group?
Yep, understood.
So the only other way around that would be if you worked with our recreation department and said, we would like to,
Do these
have,
classes.
through the recreation department, they charge, whatever they charge, $30, $40 a kid for, a couple of hikes, and then you would get some of the money for that, along with the recreation department, and it would be through REI. So.
Okay, yeah, open to
That was something
exploring,
we had talked about originally, was trying to incorporate, which I thought was a
The
good idea.
recreation, yeah.
And, to kind of widen our spectrum of classes that they offer and incorporate some of the conservation land, so.
And
Yeah.
other lit property that the town has. Once we get the Department of Corrections' new piece of property over by our Pond Street Recreation Facility, we're getting another 40 acres, I believe, which also includes a lake or a large pond. So could be interesting to see what we could develop there, along with trails.
Great, yeah, we're always looking for more places to just engage folks
Sure.
in the outdoor. Definitely doing the boating thing too, so.
Yeah, and we,
Free to reach out.
I think on behalf of Norfolk, we appreciate REI coming to us and taking advantage of the properties that we do have, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, because
Good.
there are other companies that offer classes through the recreation department, like golf and those type of things that they offer them through the recreation department, but have them on their premises. So it wouldn't be anything different like REI having, like one of the mountain bike classes offered through the Norfolk Recreation Department.
And you tell them what you want to charge. And then they can add a fee to it. for
Yeah,
their-
so it wouldn't be any different if they signed up through REI or they signed up through our recreation department. It would just be a lot easier sell for us, as the more programs you do, to offer them to the citizens of the town also.
Yeah, like a kayak or canoeing program on the Charles or
Yeah.
River or something along it, right?
Okay. So we need to take a vote on the license agreement, right? We haven't done that, have we?
Yes, we did, but we changed the
Yeah.
The 10,
So I think we're.
one group,
We
yeah,
added
so
an
we're all good there.
amendment. Yeah.
Okay, Elaine will edit.
Do you want to revote? Sorry, Mr. Chairman, do you want to revote just the time though? Because you went from what was in there to April 1st of 2020.
Oh, yeah. I'll entertain an amendment to the original motion. Oh, we voted on it already, didn't we?
We can make an
But we
amendment.
added another amendment after the vote.
Yeah. So I'll entertain a motion to amend it to the term of the license agreement will expire on April 1st, 2024.
Adam Zucker, so moved.
Second?
Valstone, second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So Elaine will correct all this and send it off to you, and then you can sign it, and or I can sign it, send it back, and then we'll sign it as commissioners.
So
Great,
Good
thank
to
you.
go.
I'll send it to our legal team for signature and review, and then send it back to you. Let you know if there's any changes.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I think we have Jeremy on the, Jeremy Owen?
Correct. That's our national manager of field operations, and it'll go through legal at REI, and then it'll go to Jeremy for signature.
Great. Well, thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Look
Being nice
forward
to
to
become a
this.
reality.
Bye.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Okay, Rich. Town of Norfolk Conservation Land License Agreement.
I have it on the screen, Rich.
Okay.
Basically taking our property by the school so you can take test
do some preliminary testing in terms of if it would be feasible for the leaching field for new wastewater treatment plant. And once we did the testing, we would review the data and then meet with the DEP. And if it doesn't seem viable, then it's a dead issue in that sense, and it will. And what I think we'll do is it could coincide with some of the area where the Park and Rec will be doing a future
Expansion.
soccer field. Yeah, soccer field. So when they do the testing, after it's done, we'll go take a look. We'll just walk in and see what we want to, how we want to clean it up afterwards. What we need to do, planting, or we'll level it off and make it, whether we should put some seedlings in there or just
Bring it back to,
loam and seed it afterwards.
yeah, and that's in the agreement, correct?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, that's in the agreement.
Any questions?
How much land do we get from the town for doing this?
So if it is, so that would depend on a couple things. One, so if it is actually viable, then there's the minimum ratio of a 3-to-1. That would have to be.
We get 3 acres for every one we give you?
Yeah.
All right.
So
We want this acreage that the town hall is on. We're going to be your renter, your landlord.
yeah. So
I think that was one of the issues I had, is that
Yeah.
I didn't want someone to look and say, you just gave away land for this purpose. We need to say, we gave away land that was kind of locked, but we gained this area that we can use for trails, or maybe around like Lint Farm. So if there's town land that we want to, that's close to one of our recreation areas,
We
that,
can incorporate it.
correct.
Yeah.
right. So once we, after we get done with the testing and see, so in terms of the conditions out there, it might be a really tight area, not a large area, or maybe larger, so we'll have to kind of figure that out. But regardless, if it is suitable, it would be a minimum of a 3-to-1 ratio swap, so.
And you plan on doing this year?
So we're doing do the testing this year, and then we'll, we got to sit down with the DEP, and then we're going to have to do some analysis in terms of what the cost would be, because the premise, or not the premise, but the financing of this is really two pieces. One, it's a betterment from the user, so it will be through a sewer district, which would have to be established. And then the other piece is actually money coming in outside the town from grants that would fund it. So it's not going to be funded by the general, through general taxation. So that's kind of the key. So if it, the viability is really how much money we probably can get outside the town to make this go. So that's a ways away. So we're just doing the preliminary step, this preliminary, and say, okay, well, let's just think about it. Do we go the next step? That progression of it.
Okay.
I think one is we look at what the original use of the land was, but in the end, as the town grows, we need a reasonable place for sewer. And if we could take a land that, somebody gave us to use for recreation or for conservation, but we can say, look, we took this land and then we added 3 times as much in this area to make an even better area for, the citizens of the town. I think that's a reasonable thing with growth. It's not like we just took away conservation land for growth.
Yeah.
We took it away and we added even more. And I think that's
important.
To me, I'm not want to speak for everyone else, but to me, that I think is, especially where that property is.
Yeah, and there's town property next to it too.
It's kind of landlocked and it's old growth.
Well, that's not the only benefit either, because, I mean, you're getting a better septic system, you can expand your community and increase your tax base.
As long as we get septic in our neighborhoods.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
you're kind of close.
Yeah.
The rest of you,
Yeah,
But-
not a chance.
Okay, let's take a vote to authorize the town to to test our conservation land at Freeman Kennedy School for potential wastewater treatment.
Valstone, so moved.
Tim Wilson, second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, did everybody read the minutes from February? Any edits, additions, corrections, omissions? I don't see anything. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the February 9th minutes.
Adam Zuckermus.
Second,
Valstone, second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay, we've got the Keolis letter. That's kind of a standard operating procedure every year. They give us their letter of what they're going to do. What's the Norfolk Waterways Vegetation Warrant article?
That's yours, isn't it? To do the,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
We've been
It's me.
pushing for this for months.
It's me. Yeah, what is, CPC is meeting next Monday and
Yeah.
voting on the warrant article for the spring meeting. And so it'll have enough money in there to take care of all of Norfolk property, Norfolk town-owned property, lakes and waterways. And we've gotten revised pricing from the company because it'll be an annual thing, so we get the benefit of that.
That's good.
So stay tuned, and once I see the... What?
Article 16, town meeting warrant. For your information, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so once it's approved, we'll get it out to everybody so you can see it. Did you look up the fees?
So Elaine is actually working compiling that, so she's putting together a spreadsheet for you. for
Okay.
us. Yeah. So it's not completed yet, but
It's close
she
to.
has started putting it together. It's close.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll look at it and see about increasing some of our fees for next year. Help pay for an agent. Okay. The February report, that's,
I saw that. It didn't seem,
yeah. Nothing on that. Have you walked 144 Seekonk?
I have not. I do have to go out there though.
Okay.
I'm going out there next week.
Okay.
do we need to have a peer review for this, or do we need to hire somebody to do this? Or?
No, Rich can do it.
So
Do you know the
we actually-
conservation commissioners used to go out and visit every hearing land and all like that before we had an agent? They'd go out on Saturday morning and they would make their recommendations. But at that time, Miss Marie Simpson had been here, and she's still with the town, but for many years, so she knew the ups and downs and everything about the paperwork. So if the commissioners said, okay, this are the order of conditions and all, she would write it up and boom. So, I thought that was interesting.
So just for your information, there is actually, so Beta is doing construction observations for the Board of Appeals. So what I was going to do, I know this came up on your agenda, is speak to him about, when they're out and about, keep their eyes open in terms of your order of condition as well. So,
Yeah, for Seekonk Street, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's on my list to reach out to him, and then I'll report back to you.
Okay. And 16 Valentine Drive, still no response from DEP? That's sad. But
Yeah.
that's on the state.
Yeah.
And we talked about the commission fees and what Elaine is doing. So with that, I think we're ready to close the meeting, unless somebody else has something else to say. Okay, where's the motion?
Adam Zucker moves to close the meeting.
Second?
Also in second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, meeting is closed.